Will there be a season 2 of Alias Grace on Netflix? Netflix has not officially confirmed anything. Fans are hopeful for a second series as the murder mystery was left unresolved. The miniseries is based on the 1996 novel of the same name by Margaret Atwood, who is well known for her novels The Handmaid's Tale and Wandering Window, which became TV adaptations. The show has received critical acclaim, but unlike another major Atwood adaptation, The Handmaid's Tale, the miniseries of Alias Grace was intended to tell the story in 6 episodes. All 6 episodes of Series 1 were released in November 2017. The TV adaptation has been in the making for 20 years. Writer and producer Sarah Polley asked Atwood to the rights to adapt her novel at age 17. Alias Grace release date and time, cast, trailer, more. What will happen in Alias Grace Season 2 on Netflix? Set in Canada in 1843, the plot follows the story of an Irish immigrant who becomes a servant called Grace Marks, played by Sarah Gadon, and is convicted of murdering her employer and his housekeeper. The 6-part series is based on the sessions between Grace and her psychologist, Dr. Simon Jordan, Edward Holcroft, who has to determine whether or not she is sane and deserving of early release. Dr. Simon Jordan attempts to find out if Grace really did commit the crime, and if so, why. Throughout these sessions, Grace reveals the difficult times she has been through as a woman and a poor immigrant. Over the course of the series, themes of class, corruption, identity, gender and mental health are present, which raises important issues. Writer and producer Sarah Polley told The Times, "The Handmaid's Tale offers us a window into a possible future when women's rights are eroded. Alias Grace offers a look at what it was like before women had any rights. To look back and forward is very important at this moment when women's rights are incredibly precarious and fragile." Although it's unlikely, if the show is renewed it would continue with this story and perhaps offer a resolution. Is Alias Grace based on a real story? The character of Grace Marks is based on the real Grace Marks, an Irish immigrant who arrived in Canada. Grace Marks was imprisoned for life for murdering her employer, Thomas Kinnear, and his housekeeper, Nancy Montgomery. Both the novel and the series feature a fictional psychologist, Dr. Simon Jordan. The prison scenes in Alias Grace were shot on location at Kingston Penitentiary, where the real Grace Marks was imprisoned for 30 years. Is Alias Grace based on a real story? The character of Grace Marks is based on the real Grace Marks, an Irish immigrant who arrived in Canada. Grace Marks was imprisoned for life for murdering her employer, Thomas Kinnear, and his housekeeper, Nancy Montgomery. Both the novel and the series feature a fictional psychologist, Dr. Simon Jordan. The prison scenes in Alias Grace were shot on location at Kingston Penitentiary, where the real Grace Marks was imprisoned for 30 years. Who will be in the cast of Alias Grace Season 2? Sarah Gordon plays Grace Marks, an Irish immigrant who was sentenced to 30 years in prison for murdering her employer and his housekeeper. Sarah Gordon won the award for Best Lead Actress in Television, Film or Miniseries at the Canadian Screen Awards for her portrayal of Grace Marks. Edward Holcroft, known for his role as Charles Hesketh in the Kingsman franchise, plays Dr. Simon Jordan, a psychologist who treats Grace. Jordan digs deep into Grace's past to answer questions of why and if she committed the crime. Zachary Levi plays Jeremiah Pontelli, a neurohypnotist known as Dr. Dupont, who hypnotizes Grace to try to access her memories. Margaret Atwood, the author of the novel, makes a cameo appearance as Old Woman at Church. If the show did get a second season, Gordon and Holcroft are most likely to return. Alias Grace is available to watch on Netflix now.